Will I have to vote in person? Will there be voter fraud? Voter suppression? Will my absentee ballot be counted? There's a lot of concern about votes cast by mail, but it's not all bad news. I've got 3 good signs about mail voting as we inch closer to our first presidential election in the coronavirus era. First, so far, so good. 22 states have gone to the polls since the bulk of the lockdowns went into effect in mid-March, and despite some states like New York receiving 15 times the normal number of mail ballot requests, things have gone pretty smoothly. In fact, if you saw all the problems and delays Georgia had with their in-person voting on June 9th, you might never consider casting a ballot any other way again. National polls show voters, both Democrats and Republicans, really like the ability to vote by mail. Countless studies have also shown that mail voting doesn't give either party any discernible advantage over the other. So while it may take longer to count all of those last-minute mail votes, results from the 22 primaries the last few months haven't been delayed too badly. The second good sign? No big problems with mail vote fraud, despite what the president may tweet. Mail-in voting will lead to massive fraud and abuse. The most rigged election in our nation's history. It will be the scandal of our times. Actually, as my NBCLX colleague Chase Kane recently explained, group after group have looked for widespread fraud in mail votes, and they've just found very little. That includes the president's own election fraud task force. But don't take it from us. Take it from a real, verifiable elections expert.
Well, I've been a commissioner on the Federal Election Commission for 17 years now. The people who like to talk about fraud point to studies that have found scattered instances out of billions of votes, out of decades of voting. It just doesn't happen. Why don't people do it? Because you would risk going to jail if you did it for that one vote for 5 years. And the election administrators at the state and local level, they have good systems for tracking the ballots.
Election officials have been spending hundreds of millions of dollars improving an already solid system of safeguards, which are sometimes a little too safe. The failure to match your signature to the one on file can occasionally get legitimate ballots rejected too. It even happened to Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis, when he was in Congress back in 2016. So tips if you want to vote by mail. Read the instructions. All the instructions. Young voters actually often don't do this. Also, pay attention to the deadline of when that ballot is due. And finally, consider updating your voter registration if you haven't updated your signature there in a while. The third good sign? America's swing states are already mail vote experts. Almost every presidential swing state already allows no excuse mail voting, and most of them have done it for a while. So while access varies a bit state to state, there won't be as many battles to wage about the rules in those key battlegrounds. Also, they should be better positioned to get us a lot of results on election night compared to maybe some other states that don't have the same mail voting experience.
I think we all have to appreciate the efforts of all of these election administrators to try and make this work. This has been done by Democrats and by Republicans, so people shouldn't worry that there's some kind of partisan advantage going on here. It's just a question of making sure that all of our citizens have the opportunity to vote.
Mail-in voting is new for a lot of us, but it doesn't have to be hard. The first step? Making sure you're registered to vote, which you can do at usa.gov. Hey, I guess I have 4 good signs.